Solstice Fast Day 4, and it's been an incredible day. Honestly, there's so much happened today that's just been amazing. Had a chiropractor's appointment, and I went in there. I thought I was nice, relaxed, and loose, where I've not been working recently. I've been catching up on sleep. And he made a couple of clicks on my neck that just felt incredible. And he put his device on the back of my neck, that little thumping device, brought it right up to the top. And it's kind of like when you feel that you've got a stiff neck and the muscles are stiff, kind of felt like that, but then all the way up to the middle part of the back of my head. I didn't realize the neck goes up that far. Now that is the top of the spine. That's the brain stem. That's where the brain meets the spine. And wow, that was incredible. The earlier on, I had some juice that I was juicing the grapes, and I done a practice live stream. So for nearly 2 hours with the camera on, I was just waffling away, just talking this and that about bits and bobs. I thought I was going to upload it to YouTube. I even said I'm going to try and avoid subjects that will get me cancelled, and then proceeded to go into about 5 or 6 subjects that will get me cancelled if I upload it to YouTube. So I decided I'm going to upload it to Rumble instead, as they're a lot more relaxed on what they'll remove a video for. So that is going to be available on Rumble at some point when it's finished. When it's finished editing, because my mouth was quite far away from the microphone, it was a little bit quiet. Otherwise, I would have just uploaded it unedited. But I put it through the UCut app that I used for editing, and that was enough just to ×2 the volume to make it so that I can hear it, and I'm quite hard of hearing, so I figure if I can hear it, then it should be good to go. And it's going to take well over an hour because of the length and the size of the file. And the UCut, it does it to 1080 HD or whatever it is, but it just means basically it will take a long time. Today has felt really good. I was doing that earlier, and towards the end of the stream, when I started talking about the chakra systems, I started connecting dots I'd never connected before. And it became clear as day why things should be the way that they are. And it confirmed things that I'd considered years ago, but I didn't have anything to back it, anything to indicate what would be like a good argument to say that this would be this. It was to do with the colors of the chakra system and the wheel of modes that I developed when I was 16, when I was first learning how to do when I was learning music theory, and I was trying to avoid, because I couldn't read music, and I was trying to avoid reading music the conventional way. I thought I'd maybe find a shortcut if I used maths instead, and I decided to go for things. I'd written out the entire fretboard and all of the notes, and I thought that's, while I'm measuring that, to have something that I can play in the meantime. I was learning the major scale, and I decided to count it in note jumps instead of instead of learning the notes in the scale. I would look at the notes in between that are missed out. So say in the major scale you have C, and then you miss out C sharp, and then you have D, and you miss out D sharp, and then you have E, and then you have F, and there's no gap between E and F, and then you miss F sharp, and you have G, and you miss G sharp, you have A, you miss A sharp, and you have B, and there's no B sharp in between B and C. So using that as a pattern, I was doing counting the jumps that you would make. So you start with the letter C, and then you jump up twice. You do a jump in the sequence of 2, 2, 1, 2, 2, 2, 1. And I wrote this out for the 7 different modes of the major scale. So the 7 different modes, you've got Ionian, which is the major scale. Then you've got Dorian, which starts with D. Phrygian, which starts with E. These are like scales that you can use. You don't have to start on that specific note. you can move the pattern over and say start with D, but still play the Phrygian mode and do that pattern of jumps, even though you'd be jumping onto one of the half tones, they call them. If it's a sharp or a flat, it's considered a half tone. So I ended up with writing out all of the note jumps for Ionian, Dorian, Phrygian, Lydian, Mixolydian, Aeolian, and Locrian. I ended up with 7 different sequences, one of which I noticed was a palindrome. So it was the same forwards as backwards. That was Dorian mode. And it was 2-1-2, 2-2-1-2. So I wondered if there was any more. I could only see one, but then realized that the other 6 were perfectly symmetrical. They were all semi-palindromes, known as subordinates, which is the word palindromes backwards. So you got the 7 different modes of the major scale, and 3 of them mirror 3 of the others. So I thought, right, Dorian belongs at the top, then everything else, I put them either side so that they corresponded with the reflection. And I was able to put them in order of the Ionian with C, the Phrygian with E, the Lydian with F, etc. I don't want to bore you with the details too much. It's quite hard to visualize if you're not looking at it. And then when I saw the circle of 7, I realized if I put the 5 sharp and flat keys, so say they've 7 white keys on the piano, I decided to input the 5 black keys as well. And I realized the 2 that had just a jump of 1 instead of 2, like from B to C and from E to F, it left B and F in the center point because it's now a 12-spoke wheel. And you got the B on the one side and the F on the other side. And then every time you get a white key on the top, it's a black key on the bottom. Every time it's a black key on top, it's a white key on the bottom. So you've got the 2 different types of symmetry. I made a video about this a while back, but some of you may not have seen it. So it's just a quick run of catching you up on what it is. I mean, if you want to watch the other video, it will be uploaded to Rumble. But I want to try and get the information there so you don't have to go to another platform, because it's quite annoying if you're using another platform. And Rumble is one of those. The ads are quite annoying on there. It's a good place because they're a lot more relaxed on things. There's a lot of people that were kicked off of YouTube about 4 years ago, and they were all allowed on Rumble and on other platforms. And I still watch Rumble for people like Charlie Freak, who got kicked off of YouTube many times under many different accounts. But then, as I was explaining the colors, because I figured the rainbow colors where you get red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet, the green is the central one, so the green would align with Dorian mode. And then it's working out which direction the others would go. So it's like, does A start as red, or does A start as purple or violet? So which direction would it be? I decided to go with red with Aeolian mode, which would be the note A. I figured that A for anger, it kind of fits. Then as it goes round, you end up with G being on violet, which kind of makes sense if G for God, which is what helps everything to grow, the higher spiritual side, and ultraviolet is what helps everything to grow. So you have ultraviolet rays. I mean, anyone that knows anyone that's grown cannabis would know the ultraviolet lights are often used. It's not just for cannabis though. It aids in a lot of growth for a lot of different plants. I think they do indoor greenhouses or indoor setups for growing vegetables. So ultraviolet made sense to be on that side. And I also synchronized the sins, the 7 sins. So it was like you have A for anger being red, red for wrath, green, obviously, green with envy. I put lust as purple. I figured that that made the most sense in terms of if you had zero lust, then we wouldn't procreate and things wouldn't grow and flourish. Like, yeah, they are called sins, but it's when they're imbalanced that is the problem. Like, you can't go through life without ever getting angry. It's not getting angry as such that's the sin. It's more what you're getting angry over, or it's more impatience than anger. It's more being reactive than responsive, and that is what puts you out of balance. Like, it's all about balance. These are the 7 chakras, so it makes sense. And some of the things that I'd never managed to connect before, I went with orange, the next one up being pride, and I had um, nothing to argue that case, because it's you, yeah, maybe happy orange, but what about orange says pride? It's then I, as I was speaking, realized that there was the orange color sun, the embers at the end of a fire. When you get to the later part of the year, you get to around about September, and then you got November and December. Well, October, not really an ember, but it's still one of the months. So you have the ember months when the sun looks like the dying embers of a fire. And this was stuff that I saw off of that Book of Knowledge guy on YouTube a couple of months back. And he's got a great channel, I'll link in the description. It's then when I connected the dots that, of course, orange was pride, because that's the months that are known as fall. Pride comes before fall. So, of course, that's the imbalance of pride, is when you fall. That's why it would be orange. Orange is often associated with death. You have Kenny from South Park, dies in every episode, and wears an orange parka. I really hope this orange not gonna mean that if I don't post videos for a while, you know why. But just know that I will have gone to a better place. I mean, not that this place is that terrible. It's feeling quite good at the moment. Feeling amazing today. And yeah, so I've had some interesting connections that just came on the spot. It gets exciting when that happens, because I love this stuff. This is why I like making these videos. It's like I love researching this stuff, and I love sharing information. And even better than when it just appears as you're speaking. Like a couple of days ago when I was talking about the pause, the we into the age of Aquarius, and Aquarius is the 11th sign, and 2 1s look like the pause button. And when you ascend this place, um, outside of here, there is no time, as time is part of the physical world. So if the age of Aquarius is the point where we all ascend, then that is a point where we all pause time. So that just came in the middle of when I was speaking, and it felt incredible. Today's one earlier, just full of inspiration. We've already talked today for nearly 2 hours and feel like I could go for another 2 easily. I feel like I'm almost at that stage where I'm ready to do the live streaming, except that as soon as I mentioned that I was doing a practice live stream, I went into many subjects that would get me cancelled from YouTube. So I decided, okay, yeah, some of these are bits and pieces from my past, talking about different people, different things, um, different jokes that were considered jokes in the past that would get you cancelled today. A bit like they've recently removed Little Britain from online streaming because of things such as blackface in it. And these are all things that are from the past that were considered a lot more in jest. I mean, there were people that pushed it, and there were people that were doing it to make others uncomfortable. But during the era that I grew up in, the people that we were with, it was a multicultural society, and it didn't appear to have those, like, there were groups of people that were very inclusive and made sure that we make jokes fine, but we're not singling people out. We're just laughing at each other's differences. It used to be a thing. It used to be you'd laugh at stereotypes, whereas also being aware that not everybody in the room is that stereotype. It's just funny when you draw things to ridiculous conclusions and then make fun of that. I think they call it the straw manning or something. The straw man argument, I think, is where they take what you're saying to a ridiculous conclusion and then ridicule that. Well, it's doing that, but in a much nicer way, because you're trying to include people in the joke. And that was a sign of the times at the time. Nowadays, you'd get cancelled for, I don't know, maybe quoting scientific facts would get you cancelled these days. Talking about XX and XY chromosomes could get you cancelled these days. So I won't go into too much detail. But yeah, once I learned to steer the streaming in a way that won't end us being able to have this connection, that's when I feel like I will be ready for the YouTube live streaming. So 16 minutes already. I'm not going to edit this video and I'll upload it as is, because my other thing is taking up all of the U-cut space. So I'm also super excited today. Went onto YouTube, realized that one of the guys that I was listening to 4 years ago that did get cancelled is back. And not just back with a new channel. Nah, I was already subscribed. So he's back with his old channel, meaning that something has shifted in the world that allowed him to get his channel back. His channel name is Space Shot 76 or Space Shot. It's Space Shot something. If Sonia's watching, she will probably already know of this channel. So I'm super excited to see who else is coming back. There's so many people that just disappeared. And if we've got everyone returning, that would be incredible. There's so many people who I've not seen in a while. There were so many people that, wow. As everyone got spread across channels, there was a lot of people that didn't come back. There was a lot of people that ended their channel there and then, and there's a lot of people that have stopped doing as many videos or started doing different videos. But it does feel like a big reuniting. Like this could be the start of something brilliant. And yeah, the connectivity, everything feeling like we are all one and realizing it. And now we're starting to reunite. It really will be a case of where we go one, we go all. And I'm really looking forward to this. This is as exciting as things get. And this is in the midst of all this chaos. There's everything going on in Korea at the moment. I'm not sure if you watch the news or anything. I try to take it with a pinch of salt. I always think that they're always showing you something that they want you to see. So it's you've got to be aware of the suggestibility when it comes to the media, because that's a lot of the time what they are about. They are about suggestibility, because they're aware of the power of your mind. If you believe in something, it will manifest, because you're putting those thoughts in your conscious mind, and your subconscious will nurture those thoughts, and it will manifest in your reality. It's down to what you believe. We were talking about this earlier with my chiropractor. It was a conversation that come up. What was it that started it? It was to do with feeling ill. Because I don't believe that you get ill by catching a virus. Okay, like YouTube, if you're trying to flag me for misinformation, I'm not saying indefinite articles, I'm not speaking facts, this is an opinion. I don't think that you get ill from a virus. Viruses are man-made. Viruses are things that are made inside your body in order to go about a robotic type function. And yes, I do believe that you can make these things externally, but other than them being used as weapons, and things that I guess you could probably call research, um, delving into what is possible or something along those lines, furthering science, whatever it is. Still a shifty thing because of the potential of the harm it can cause, but also good because if someone else is capable of making the same thing, if it's possible, it's good to have something there that will combat it, like an antivirus as such. However, I do think that everything on the outside is on the inside, and it's the suggestibility. So what we were talking about was when you are influenced by people around you, you see people around you are ill, so therefore you think that you're likely to get ill, and your body starts going through the motions. It's almost like when someone yawns, and it's contagious, right? Someone starts yawning, and then it makes you yawn. If you don't believe me, I've got the video that I made on the day one of the Solstice Fast. I was so tired. I was yawning, probably 7 or 8 yawns throughout the thing. I'll make a little compilation video of just me yawning. If you can watch that and not yawn, like, you are a champion. Because the majority of the time, if I see someone yawning, it makes me yawn. They scientifically looked into this and found that if you are in a room with someone that's yawning, or if you see someone that's yawning, it's like a signal to your brain. It's telling you need to focus. You need sharper focus. And the better way to do that is to, the yawn is what makes that happen. You become more alert just after you yawn. That's why you do it when you're tired. As you feel that you're getting tired, you feel that you need to be more awake. So therefore, you sharpen your focus by stretching, however it works, stretching this specific part of your throat or top of your mouth or something that affects the inside. However it works, it is something that you notice when you see a person yawn. It makes you want to yawn. And you see someone around you that's ill, it could be that it's sending the same signals. Like when you're showing symptoms of illness, the symptoms is your body getting rid of the illness. You get loads of mucus. The mucus is because it's trapping whatever dust particles or whatever it is that's, like, say you're hay fever, you've breathed in a lot of pollen. The mucus is trying to encase this pollen and get it out of your system. It's trying to rid your body of something. It's a detox maneuver. It's something that happens when you're fasting. I've actually not had it so far this fast, but I have done a lot of fasting. I'm feeling insanely happy today, and this does feel like being high on fruit sugars in the later stages of a fast. But do probably, it's wise to bear in mind, if you decide to go do a fast for yourself, chances are on day 4 you won't feel like this high on fruit sugar. Like, this is something that I feel like I'm experiencing more and more due to the amount of fasting I've done, and there's a lot less waste for me to get rid of now to get to this stage, so I get there a little bit quicker. Before, I didn't get this kind of feeling until after the second week. So by day 4, this is new for me. But yeah, you got the chiropractor was saying about, there's a man who ended up dying of hypothermia because he got locked in a freezer, and the freezer wasn't turned on. But because he believed it was, the power of his own belief, it basically placeboed him to death. It is death by placebo effect. He died of hypothermia because he believed it was cold in there. And then you look at the amount of people that have actually gotten away with things. They've cured illness through the power of belief, because that's what it takes. That's why people recover on different diets. It's like we believe it's the physical food that is helping you, but it's the way you feel about it. It's not going to help you unless you believe it's going to work. It's magic. Magic doesn't work unless you believe in it. You need that belief. And that's to the point where it's not even a belief anymore. It's something that you know happens because you've tried and tested it. At that point, who's going to tell you any different? Someone might walk in and give a waffle about, oh, this only worked because of this and these conditions. If you believe him, then he's right now, because that's the only time it's going to work, because that's what you believe now. Nothing exists but you. I mean, I'm saying that because nothing exists but me in my reality. I'm walking around talking to myself, basically, filming myself, putting it out to basically empty space, because there's only one character in motion being seen by the eye at one time. They're all happening at the same time because time doesn't exist outside of the physical world. So anytime you are outside of the physical world, then you realize you can come back into it as absolutely anyone. You've been reunited with all knowledge, so you already know every different entrance that you've got into this place throughout all of time, because time doesn't exist outside of this place. Is this making sense? I really hope this is making sense. I'm not sure how to reword it. We're all the same entity. We are all one. Outside of this place, all that exists is us. It's like what you would call the Holy Spirit, or the Tao. The Tao has got yin and yang elements, but it is the same thing. Just the elements, everything is electromagnetism, and the elements come from different speeds of movement for different things. So you get different atoms that are made of torus fields that are all polarized. You've got two different poles in the torus field, and these things at different speeds and different tempos, temperature. You get different speeds of being. The fastest, I think, would be hydrogen, which the hydrogen atoms then form water. The water has flow and it has current, just like electricity has flow and it has current. Like, everything is all connected. We are all one. So outside of here, you are everything and are aware of where everything is to such a finesse detail that you couldn't comprehend through a brain that we have on the experience that we are in. Because we're at the evolution stage. Outside of here, there's no evolution anymore, because you're already at your highest peak. And to have evolution, you need time, because you need stages of evolution, and this happens over time. So you have this with the time that has been tied to us in the physical reality. And outside of it, we have infinite potential. You can come in and experience absolutely anything in this place. Like, if you want to be an astronaut, you can go up to space. I'm sorry, flat earthers might upset you a little bit. You can go up to space and you can experience space because you believe in it, because it is possible to make these things happen. Now, what NASA tell us is a load of bullfrog, but doesn't mean it's not possible. What we are in is a simulation. It's like Jim Carrey in the episode, the film Bruce Almighty. He's trying to convince Morgan Freeman that, he's trying to trick him. He's saying, like, how many fingers am I holding up? If you're God, you should be able to tell me that. And then he holds up 7 fingers behind his back and then drops 2 fingers on one hand as Morgan Freeman as God is saying 7. And then he pulls out his one hand like, ha, and then sees 7 fingers on his one hand. Like, you can't fool the person who creates the simulation that you are in, because you're only fooling yourself. So it's incredible, the place that we're in, the magic that this place is. Heaven isn't a place we go to. This is heaven. Heaven is a place in your mind. Once you reach that level of belief, you're already in it. And everything around you is exactly how you want things to be. Now, this sounds bizarre because there's a lot of us that have been manipulated in our thoughts, and there's a lot of things that we have fallen for, basically. But we're here for this experience. We're here because we want this experience. And it involves a lot of things colliding that will give us experience that you can't get unless you are here. This is like a novelty to anyone outside of this realm, anyone in other kinds of realms, like spirit realms or dream worlds. Like, you can have lucid dreams where you can control absolutely everything. And I do believe that that is possible in this place. It's just that we've been conditioned in physicality to believe that this is hard reality. You stand in front of a truck moving at 60 miles an hour, it's gonna hurt. But it's your world. Meaning, for me, it's my world, but you're watching this, meaning that while you're watching this, we're in your world, and I don't exist. I'm just a piece of your mind that's part of your being, or part of our being, and it's a reflection of yourself. It's just reminding you of who you are. Like, I'm no guru, I'm no, like, religious leader, I'm no cult leader. I don't want people following me. I want to remind people who they are, and they can go off and do their own. That's what Jesus would do. That's what Jesus says. You will go on to do greater things than I. Well, why will we go on to do greater things than Jesus? Jesus was raising the dead. It doesn't matter if you don't believe in the Abrahamic faiths. I mean, the character is just a representation. I mean, in the Quran, even, Jesus, peace be upon him, raised the dead. This is not a story that is, I believe in the, I haven't found it specifically in the Torah, but I believe that there would be something of the same sort. If not Jesus, then Yeshua. I'm not sure, but it's a feeling. I need to go check this. Like, obviously, 5 fingers, 7 fingers. I could be wrong. Don't want to make declarations unless I've checked. But yes, everything about this feels incredible. I had this same realization before on an acid trip. We're already in heaven. It's just about reminding yourself, reminding your own mind where you are. That's it. Once it sinks in, everything is at your fingertips. Every piece of manifestation. It's like lucid dreaming, but reality. Lucid reality. And what's lucid? Lucid of Lucifer, of the light bearer. Light bearer being Venus, not Satan, as a lot of people like to think of the fallen angel. I mean, yeah, fallen angel means like fallen one. We all came from above. We all fell here for the experience. It's the fall of, it's part of our cycle. You can only, outside of here, you're remaining static. How long can you remain static for before you need to or want to start doing something else? We've got eternity, infinity, infinity times eternity. There's no getting rid of us. Death is the divine comedy, because there's always a cycle. Yeah, your body will die, the dream will end, but you won't. You will carry on to have many more dreams. Many, many more dreams. You imagine how many people are there? How many billions of people on this planet? That's how many people we've already gone through having these experiences. And all it takes is another incarnation. I don't know the exact physics of how it works. It might work as you start off with like 12 people that come in and interact with each other and then go about their day. And that's how the first incarnation went. And then it was with 144 people and then up to 144,000 maybe. And then now we're up to like billions at a time because we've evolved as a godlike entity. And even that evolution of the godlike entity could be within the confines of another type of time, because the macro is the micro. So what we're experiencing in the simulation in this kind of time, there could be on the outside as well. The other realms have their own equivalents. But outside of all of the realms that include time, there would be no time, there would be a pause. And that is being at one with ourselves, because there's no division anymore. There's no other realms. We are every realm. Does that make sense? Is that, if this is the simplicity of it, just got to remember this is heaven. We're already walking around in it. We're swimming in it. And at the same time, it's a simulation. Now, why would there be a simulation in heaven? Well, because this is what we wanted. The simulation of physical reality has always been our magic that we use. The matrix that we're in, it's our matrix. It's our Maya. It comes from our mother, which is our divine feminine, which is inside of us. And our father gives us the time and the space. And at the same time, as talking about space and exploration in space, that is yours if you believe in it. You could then all of a sudden meet up with a bunch of flat earthers, start to look at some of the evidences that it could be this way instead of this way. I mean, water is always level, right? So once you change your belief, you enter a new type of reality where everything that you had previously experienced in space was a simulation, and therefore you're able to get the best of both worlds. Now, if that makes sense, you got there a lot quicker than me. This is absolute years. This penny has dropped many times, and I found it time and time again. Feels like absolutely everything. There's nothing new under the sun. Absolutely everything is on a cyclical uh, path, and that's part of what makes this sustainable place. There's the cycle of life and death. Everything has its balance, and I feel like I'm a lot more balanced now than I've ever been. And this is without the drugs this time, which is incredible. We never needed them. All of those drug experiences, never needed it. You believe it's a physical thing that makes the difference? Never needed it. You think that it's the vegan lifestyle that you adopt, or the never needed the food. The food is nothing. You're eating little pieces of dream made of dream. It's simulation that you're eating. You're eating pixels. What matters is what you believe in. It's what you believe it's going to do. The vegan diet saved me because I believed it was going to work, because it was so difficult to do, to give up the earthly desires. And yeah, I do think the way the simulation is made, having all of these things, believing in those things, it pulls you down. It weighs you down. You put on weight when you eat these types of foods. And when you fast, you're abstaining, you're walking with temperance. And every time you get the devil start to harass you, because that's the design of this place. You're walking with temperance, you're on your way to divinity that the devil can't have, because his entire purpose is to deviate you from your path. It's like AI rather than an actual evil entity. It's there created to test your mind. A testament. This is what we're in. And it's trying to drag you down. It's a downward cause. It's a downward causation, like electricity, the devil. The magnetism is where you rise. You become very attractive, and I don't mean in the way of this moustache. Please, this has actually been combed and it still looks terrible. I'm looking at potentially shaving it off because it keeps on drinking all of the drinks that I have through open tops. So I'm going to be drinking from bottles for a while. I might keep it for the meantime. See if I can style it out. Because every time I brush it now, it comes out like a bad hair day. I'm not too worried about being attractive like that. I don't think that that's even what I meant by being attractive. What I mean is you have a glow about you that's a very attractive glow that people are interested. I had this once, the first time that I was supposed to try ecstasy. My friend had told me about it, said it was like a scientific experiment to come up with the chemical formula for happiness. And I bought into the idea. And I went down to visit him in Margate in Kent. And it's the first time I'd been to Kent and to Margate. And this was, he told me not to drink alcohol because if I did, then he wasn't going to give me the ecstasy tablets, because he didn't believe in mixing the two. He thought that it was a bit dangerous and didn't want that on his conscience if anything did go wrong. Good man. And when we got there, I was having a really great time, started drinking with people and didn't take any ecstasy. But I was so happy. I was out on the dance floor. I was going absolutely crazy on the dance floor. I had people coming up to me. They started off by taking the piss out of me. They were making fun of me for the way I was dancing, and I didn't care. I just danced back at them and had a wonderful time. I even involved them in the dance. We ended up having a laugh. The people that trying to make fun of me were laughing and joking with me by the end of it. And I had girls come up all of a sudden to dance with me, and I'd not experienced that at that point. I was 19 at the time, and I had like little bits and pieces of attention at different places, but not like this. And my friend told me afterwards it was because you were so happy. The happiness that you felt, they could see it. It was like a glow, and it piqued their curiosity. They wanted to go over and find out who you were, why you were so happy, and if they could share in it. Ah, my God, I haven't felt this good in a while. Ah, wow, I'm talking fast as well. 40 minutes. Okay, I'm going to call this here, but thank you all for watching. I've got this on Rumble, 2 hour practice live stream thing. You don't need to even go and watch that. I'm sure it's not going to be long before I'm live streaming here now. Everything feels like it's coming together. Just gonna try now to finish my juicing, get a lot more work done on finalizing some of the things I was writing, see if anything else, any more connections start becoming apparent. Looking forward to it already. So thank you all for watching. Stay tuned for more.